Okay, so this is a quiz going over the quiz 1.1 through 1.4. We have this data here. It says, what are the individuals? The individuals are each of the presidents. Okay, so these people right here are the individuals. And then number 2, what are the variables? These right here are the variables. And we want to identify them as either categorical or quantitative. Okay, so political party would be a categorical. Okay, they're either this or this. It's not a numbered response. If you look at the age of inauguration, that would be a quantitative. Okay, categorical, quantitative. If you look at the age of death is also a quantitative number. And then state, okay, is a category. It's not a numbered response, just they fit into a category. Virginia is well represented there. Okay, that's numbers 1 and 2. Number 3, list of breed dogs at the Canine Disc Championships. Okay, I don't know what kind of dog a Whippet is, but yeah, I should look that up and be educated here. But make a table that includes a frequency and relative frequency. So here is what I did here. So the Whippet, there were 3 Whippets that won. Mixed were 9, other 1, Labrador, Border, and Australian Shepherd. So here's the frequency. There's a total of 20 dogs there. And relative frequency, you take 3 divided by the total, 20, and it gives you 15%. 9 out of the 20 gives you 45%, etc. And those should all add up to be 100% of your data. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4 is a bar graph. Okay, we're thinking about categorical data here. Bar graph, the Whippet 3 times, mixed 9 times, etc. So you want this labeled, and you want this labeled as frequency. Now if you put it as a relative frequency, that would have been acceptable too, and I wouldn't have taken points off there. So either this or this would have been fine. Okay, make sure you do label your things there. Number 5, we have miles per gallon for different types of cars. I want to make a dot plot of the data. So you should have a number line that's labeled here with no gaps in between. You can't just put 31 and then 48 right next to it. You got to keep it spaced out so we can gauge the spread. So each dot represents one of these up here. Okay, so there's that. And describe the shape of the data. Okay, the shape, most of it's here, but we have some out this direction, so it's skewed to the right. Okay, that 48 makes it skewed to the right out there. Okay, we have 2 different ones here. Dot plots, so we want to compare the distributions. Whenever, in the future, I'm not going to necessarily say use SOCS. Whenever I say compare the distributions, you need to remember SOCS. Okay, so how do we compare those? The shapes of them. Okay, so this one, okay, most of the data is here, but we have some out here as well, so I'd say that's probably skewed right. This one here, we have most of the data here, but we have out here, which makes it, you could maybe say skewed left or approximately symmetric. Either one of there I would be accepting. Outliers. I don't say there's an outlier here. Maybe if there was just one of them here, that would be an outlier. Here, I would say the 0 is an outlier because most of our data is down here, so I would say 0 is probably an outlier. Center. Center of this data maybe is around this area. Center of this data is probably around this area. So video games is greater, has a greater center than exercise. Spread. If you look at how these are spread out versus these are mostly right in this area. These are spread out a little bit more. So this is more spread out than what video games is. Okay, number 8. We want to make a stem plot of the data. One thing that is needed is your key, so make sure you have that there. And these numbers should be in order. Okay, so as you're doing this out there, you notice I kind of made some scratch there to make sure I had them in order. And that's the quiz.